Couch Co-op! Couch Co-opers, Couch Potatoes, and Couch Co-Depends. This is the Couch Co-op Show, and I'm Ian. I got Jarrod with me.
Yeah.
Do us a favor and find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at Couch Co-op Shows, all one word, no hyphen. And as you can probably tell by the music, it is now part 3 of my ongoing review of Elden Ring. We got Jarrod to talk about it now. Before I go asking Jarrod a bunch of questions about the game and From Software, I will give a small update. I am level 163. I have 143 hours in the game, and I am still loving it. And I don't want it. This is my first playthrough still, and I'm loving it. That's where I'm at. All right. You ready, Jarrod?
Yeah, and I just wanted to point out that the creator originally said it would take average users about 30 hours to complete the story of this game. And then early people were saying about 50, and you are well over 100. I'm creeping up on 100. I'm about 95 hours in.
I've also just been kind of going back and just doing some stuff I never did, like some old, just kind of clearing stuff out, just because, I don't know, I think I'm getting close to the end, and I just kind of don't really want it to end.
Yeah, totally. I'm there too. I'm doing optional stuff right now, and just kind of dinking around and having a good old time.
But before we get too far into it, I had Justin Daniels on the last episode, and I wanted to talk a little bit about your previous experience with Souls games. Like, which ones have you played? Which ones have you beaten?
Well, with From Software games, I started back on PS1 with King's Field.
Oh, he's going way back.
So I played 1 and 2. I didn't beat either of those, but they were hard as nails and really interesting for their day. PS3, I did play Demon's Souls originally, and I bounced off of that pretty hard. I don't know if it's because it's just not what I was looking for at that time, or if it's every time I died, which is numerous times, there was such a long loading time. Mm-hmm. Very, very long loading time. So after that, everybody seemed to have enjoyed Bloodborne. So maybe a year or two after that came out, I decided, I'm going to give it a shot. And I couldn't put it down. I loved that game a lot, and completed the story of that one. Not the good ending. I'm not, I wasn't researching or digging through all the notes to find that. But one thing I didn't know about Souls games at that point was that you had to read all the item descriptions. So I missed a lot about Bloodborne. So it was all about the gameplay, pretty much. I've actually still never played a Dark Souls game, 1, 2, or 3. I just have never played them. I want to, and I probably will someday. They remastered the first one, so I'll probably jump into that someday. Speaking of remasters, when the PS5 came out, I did pick up Demon's Souls again. And I was concerned that I wasn't going to really enjoy it, but I did a lot. Like I talked about it on this podcast several times about how much I enjoyed it, and I think a big part of it, I was still dying a lot, but loading times were instantaneous, so that really helps a lot. Any game that is full of repetition benefits from just quick loading times. Like, I mean, there's a lot of, like, what, Super Meat Boy, where you hit the grinder, bam,
Right.
you're already at the start, that kind of thing. And
100%.
that's the feeling I had with that game. It's like, you've died, the mist pops up, and then boom, you're in the game. Uh, which I'm assuming the PS5 version of Elden Ring is a little bit faster than the PS4 version. I play on the PS4 Pro in my garage, and the PlayStation 4 edition in my on my PS5. So I don't get the PS5 loading times, which seem to be a little bit better for Ian when we're playing co-op. So that's my experience, I suppose, with Souls games.
I, wa-
And
I, have you played any like Souls like game like from other developers like Neo or any of those games?
yeah, but I've never completed them. I've made it through one of the major bosses of Neo. I have Neo 2. I just haven't installed that yet. I haven't actually played Neo 1 since they gave the free PS5 upgrades to 1 and 2. So eventually I'll get to those. There's what, the Surge game,
The Surge
right?
games?
Yeah, you talked about that with Justin. I really liked the first one. I think I played like a beta or something of the second one and enjoyed that, but I don't know why. I just kind of bounced off of those. Um, I could just be like something that From Software really champions is level design, and you can really tell that level design is extremely important in that type of game, where you feel like even after you die that you made progress, because there's just various shortcuts everywhere. It's not just about learning the environment and where you might be able to go differently, but you actually unlock shortcuts, elevators, gates, all kinds of stuff like that. And I don't know, I didn't feel much of that in the Surge game. Maybe a couple times, but I mean, I spent like 6 hours in that game, and I thought I made pretty good progress, but I don't know, maybe I was just missing something,
Right, right.
though not that genre of game doesn't really hand it out to you. You just kind of figure it out as you
That
go.
first Surge game is like, of all the kind of Souls like games I've played, that first one is the one I've kind of played the most. But
Yeah,
I just kind of got tired of it. It didn't hold me. It held me long enough that I kind of got into the mechanics of the game, but I just kind of burnt out.
yeah, and there was what, a Viking game or something like that I played in a little bit until I died. I'm just like, that's okay, cool, whatever.
Lords of the
No, it's
Fallen. Yeah.
it's a genre that I don't know. I don't usually stick too hard to. I mean, I like challenging games, but at a certain point, you're just like,
Right.
I don't want to run through the whole level again.
Right.
And Elden Ring doesn't force you to run through whole levels to get back to bosses and stuff like that. So
Well, something I think is fun, a little fun story. Maybe you can tell us. I mean, I already know it, but you can tell the listeners. Because you didn't buy Elden Ring at launch, you bought some other two games, and then
what are the two
you
games?
could call it. I pressured you into it, but I don't know. You may have been inebriated at the time, but you should tell that.
Yeah, well, I purposefully bought other games thinking I was going to not purchase Elden Ring for a while. I knew I was going to play Elden Ring and enjoy it. Uh, so I bought Destiny 2, The Witch Queen, and Horizon Forbidden West. And I'm almost done with Horizon Forbidden West, but Elden Ring keeps getting in the way. And when that doesn't get in the way, I might play a mission of Destiny. I think I've only done two of the main missions in the latest expansion, and I haven't done any of the seasonal stuff. So like I'm missing out on a lot of stuff in Destiny, but I don't really care because I don't know, I love Destiny 2 a lot, and I'm really enjoying the new season. And I really love Horizon Forbidden West, but I'm just having troubles balancing such huge 3 massive games all at once. And that is
So what is
the
it about
challenge what a lot of gamers have.
what is it about Elden Ring then that is winning over those other two games?
Uh, it's hard to say because all of them have a sense of exploration,
Right.
but Elden Ring seems to do things differently. I like when I first saw the trailers of Elden Ring, it's kind of funny. I'm like, oh, that looks kind of dumb. The height stuff, you're jumping your horse like miles high in the sky to get to different locations. I'm like, that looks kind of dumb. I don't think the world's going to be very interesting. But now that I've been playing it, like the world design and the level design, everything about the map that I have bumped into is super interesting, and there's always like something around the corner. It may not be 100% useful, but a lot of times you're getting like talismans, you're getting new spells, and all kinds of stuff. And maybe bump into some random character, and you're just like, oh, okay. So there's really a sense of adventure versus just like, oh, here's a question mark. I'm going to go over there. You
Right.
know something's over there because the map tells you. I could turn that stuff off probably, but I don't know
Right.
if it would have the same impact in a game like that. Like in Horizon, it's very, very wide open. And really, if you go in one direction, yeah, you'll probably bump into something, but nothing would really pull you in a way that Elden Ring's map does.
Right.
And Destiny is, it has its open worlds, and actually has a lot of secrets to uncover and explore. It has a lot of that, but I don't know. It's just what I'm not in the mood for right now. I want to be able to spend a lot of time with Destiny, but I don't want to be distracted by other things.
Right.
So that's the challenge there.
So what did you end up I mean, I know what you chose, but like what did you tell the listeners what you chose? What was your starting character? What have you been kind of specking your character as?
So originally, you posted a link to a video of why you should pick the Scourge
No,
or
the
whatever. What's
Wretch.
it
The
called? The
Wretch.
Wretch.
The lowest
Wretch.
lowest level character.
Yeah. So Wretch. So on the PS5, I actually started a game on the PS5 when I first installed the game and started with that because it seemed interesting, and I agreed with a lot of the points. You kind of get to start where you want and put all your points where you want, and you just kind of make your character how you want it. And I played for probably an hour and a half that first night, and then uh, I had to play more. I wanted to play more, so the next night I went out to my PS4 and like, oh, I really hope this is like crossplay or something like that. So I looked and I'm like, oh, well, I'm going to make a new character. Okay, I'm just going to delete my PS5 version and run PS4 only. Because why? I really wish there was crossplay. I would love to play a PS5
Yeah.
version on my PS5. That should just be a given when a new game comes out with both versions. But on the PS4 version that I have all my hours in, I am playing as a warrior. Because that's kind of how I played Demon's Souls. I was just going for high damage real quick with staggering attacks. I was using the shield a lot in Demon's Souls, so I'm like, yeah, I want a character with a shield. But I just don't utilize it in this game. I feel they don't want you to.
It's a little more Bloodborne in a sense, like you're kind of
Yeah,
magic offhand instead of whatever. What is it, a shotgun or something in Bloodborne or whatever that
yeah,
is? I feel
yeah. They
like
want you to stay up close.
and a little more quicker. From my
Yeah.
understanding, I only played Bloodborne for a little bit, and I haven't, my experience with Demon Souls is very small.
Yeah. Demon Souls, I picked a lance and, stab, 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 and it knocks most enemies back and damages armor, all kinds of stuff. That thing was super powerful, the lance that I had, and I upgraded that all the way. I tried a lance in Elden Ring. I actually wanted to kind of do a similar build that I had in Demon Souls because I really enjoyed that build, but it took like, I don't know, 30 hours or so before I even found a lance.
Right.
because there's a gajillion weapons in the game and
Right.
1,000 types
There's
of
more than
weapons, and
I
it's
think
fucking nuts.
I think I have a lot of weapons. I've been
Yeah,
spending, and
and there's nothing. Yeah,
there's so many more. It's
yeah.
just like, what am I missing? Where are all these
Oh, I
places?
know.
I keep trying to find, and you know what is crazy? I start finding things. I was like, oh my god, I didn't know this was this. It's crazy. It's the game is
Yeah.
never ending in a way that boggles my mind, and I love it.
Well, well, it's funny because I didn't even really figure out the art, like the art of war, or whatever the war spell things you can do with L2.
Oh, the
Whatever,
ashes.
ashes of war. I didn't even figure that out till way later, and I was using my great sword single hand with my shield, and I didn't even learn until like 15 or 20 hours in that I could hit a combination of buttons to hold it two handed.
Oh yeah,
It's
hold
like,
triangle, and then you could depending
yeah.
on if you're doing dual wield, and then you hold triangle and you hit L1, it'll dual wield the left hand weapon,
Yeah.
or you do on the right side, it'll dual wield the right hand weapon. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, I learned that probably about 20-30 hours in.
Yeah, yeah. I had no idea. I'm like, oh, hey, this is awesome. I
Because
really have no reason to carry my shield.
I
I'm
kept
just gonna run around with my two-handed sword.
I kept wondering how do other people, how do they do that two-handed shit? No weapon automatically does that. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's funny. Like even if all you have equipped is your sword, you still have to hit the buttons to dual wield it.
Yeah, it's
It's like,
weird.
oh, not dual wield, but hold it two-handed.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um,
Yeah, so that's funny.
there's
I
a
don't
lot.
know.
I mean, that's the game. I mean, it's kind of one of those like very old kind of ideas of not explaining everything, or kind of have old games couldn't really explain stuff because there are limitations, and they've brought that into this game. Like, we don't really care about explaining this to you. Is that something
Yeah.
you don't like? You do like?
I don't know. I don't mind it. The only thing it's really missing, because you can directly compare most of these Souls games to what it was like to play an NES game, but the one up that an NES game had was they had a manual with a story in it. You got to read the story, and then you're like in there and you just kind of like, okay, cool. That's the story and I'm doing it.
Right.
And this game's just like,
Hmm.
uh here's a bunch of words and things that you might understand 40, 50 hours into the game, and you just keep doing things, and then there's people that throw more random words at you, and you kind of have to figure that out.
Right. Unless they're fucking with you.
Yeah, I'm not playing the game for the story. Let's just yeah, it's like it's hard to follow unless you're taking notes.
It's weird though.
I
I
know
mean,
there's people taking notes out there, but I'm not that type of a gamer.
well, that's the one thing is I've kind of started like cleaning up a little bit. I know I've kind of fucked up some of the side quests,
Hmm.
but I have finished some of the other quests, and it is interesting to me a little bit. So I mean, while I'm not 100% on the lore, I'm probably like 75%. I mean, I've been following it to a bit. I kind of I
Yeah,
dig it.
yeah, I kind of get some of it, but it's none of it's really thrown out there for you. There's not a lot of exposition, which is what you're kind of used to in an open world game, is exposition left and right. Even characters reminding you what you're doing and why you're doing, and you get the same stuff in every village you visit, kind of a
But I
thing.
kind of like it not, because like
Yeah,
someone like me who's like put like 1,000 hours into Skyrim, the story, when you've played something a lot like that, you just get tired of the story. And so there's something nice about it being very kind of uh, pushed back a bit. I mean, I feel like the world has a lot of story, but
yes.
it's it really feels like it's my story. You know, so I really appreciate that. I don't know. Um, Something I wanted to ask. Now this is a review in progress, so we're not rating the game, but like, see, was this game overhyped? Do you think? I mean, the tens and the, like, do you feel like it's overhyped? Do you think it's deserving of the hype? Where you stand on some of that?
I think it's about right. I mean, it's really really well fine tuned game. It feels great to play. It looks great to play. I don't know. And some people say it looks kind of like a PS2 game. I'm just like, what? No, no. I think it looks great. Uh, but yeah, I think it's well deserving of top tier scores. It's a fantastic game.
I think it's something. I mean, it doesn't look the best of the best PS5 games for sure. It's not
No,
like, but I think where that is lacking, the gameplay, the design of the game is in itself, just the art design, the level design, all of that design in this game is just is brilliant. I think if you have such good, like, if that's your best in that, and then the game looks kind of not the best, I feel like I'm willing to forgive that. It still looks good, so it's not like it's something you have to apologize for. I don't know. I think it's. I was kind of I mean, the hype sucked me in, but I was concerned that I wasn't gonna like it, and a lot of that stuff. But I'm glad. I'm glad I fell in love with it.
yeah, well, I'm glad they kind of took their own direction with the open world design because a lot of games have kind of depended on like, oh, hey, there's a cliff, let's climb it.
Right.
Oh, I can climb anything, but I don't like climbing stuff. If you just make it easier to get up the thing with like hillsides and accessibility, it just climbing stuff gets boring. Maybe a couple of segments here and there, but I think I'm kind of over the climbing thing. So, like, I mean, Horizon has a lot of climbing, and most a good chunk of it's kind of annoying. And most Uncharted well, all Uncharted games are kind of built around that. And God of War has it. Most games just have this obnoxious climbing thing. Just like,
Well, it's funny too, because like you have, like, let's say the open world games. If you have Horizon, it has that kind of, you can climb only in the climbing sections.
yeah,
Assassin's Creed, you can climb literally anything with no stamina bar, and then you have Breath of the Wild where you can climb anything, but you have a stamina bar.
wah, wah. Yeah,
so
stamina
it's
bar. I
so,
hate.
so it's like, and it's like, and it's funny how this game you can't climb anything. You can jump around and double jump on your horse and stuff, but just how much more kind of interesting that is. It makes the game more interesting. It makes the world more interesting. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, well, and this is the first Souls game that you can actually jump in,
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
and I overutilize the jump attack. That thing's OP. It
I
it
think.
staggers most enemies, and that's how I figured out how to defeat a lot of the really powerful enemies. Just jump, slice, jump, slice, jump,
Well,
slice.
isn't there even a talisman for jump attacks? I think
Oh,
there's a.
I think I have it. I should put that back on. I keep switching them up, but yeah, yeah. I mean, I hope a lot of new developers learn why this game is so interesting. Of course, everybody has their own opinions, and I hope development teams really just kind of dive into this aspect of just really great world design where yes, it has very large open areas, which may not always have something, but there's always something uh, that you can get to around the area. I mean, it's hard to explain. It just looks so interesting, and like the areas that are wide open are almost kind of haunting. You're like, what's gonna pop out? It's like that type of game has the danger in it. Like, oh shit, a lobster.
Oh,
Oh man, these things are dropping from hot air balloons or something. These marionettes, run. It's nuts.
what's also nuts about that? Like, just the varied amounts of enemies. Like, just like
Oh yeah,
crabs,
there's
lobsters,
so many.
like land octopuses, and then it's like it's also not traditional enemies. Like, there's not a spider level. There's not a, we're going with ants. It's just like, let's not do what every game's done forever. Let's do some different shit, and it's just kind of, I guess. I've heard, I don't know because I haven't played a lot, but I guess some of the enemies kind of are repetitive from other Souls games. I don't know. You could probably speak to that, but I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, nobody's mentioned anything about duplicate like Demon Souls or Bloodborne enemies, but yeah, there's like I
Like,
saw
similar, I
earlier
guess,
this
not
week. Yeah,
duplicate.
there's certain Dark Souls characters that are kind of put their move sets maybe, or things like that are familiar to people, but it's nothing that I've encountered with my experience in the game. So I mean, yeah, there's basic enemies, of course they're going to do, there's normal attacks. One thing that's catching me really off guard compared to the other ones is some of these bosses or even basic enemies, they're about to attack and they're still about to attack, and you dodge roll. You're like, when's he gonna attack? And then you dodge at the wrong time, and he finally fucking attacks. Like some of these hangs, they just like raise their arm, make their sound, wait for it.
Yeah, right.
Bam, you're dead. just fucking attack.
Yeah, that's what you want, right? No,
Yeah.
that happens to me all the time. All the time.
Oh yeah. Every goddamn boss has one of those moves. At least one of those moves. It's just like,
even basic enemies, man. He's like,
wait,
okay, he's gonna attack now. Why is he not attacking?
Yeah, it's just
Should I have attacked?
Broken? Oh yeah, okay. I dodged too early again and again and again. Oh, did I? What? Oh,
Talking about bosses, I mean, having played some of the other and beaten some, Bloodborne and Demon Souls, how does this stack up difficulty wise, Elden Ring versus those games, in your opinion?
yeah. I mean, about the same, I'd say, because it it all depends on really what level you're at and what your skill level is at with as a player. So I mean, this one I feel like I've had to level up more. You know, you and I both cheese the leveling system, and it's still challenging. You know,
Right.
and I don't remember cheesing so much in Demon Souls or Bloodborne, um, but yeah, this one I feel is a little more challenging in certain areas. Some bosses are really easy because I think it's because it gives you freedom to kind of explore. So I ended up leveling up in the wrong area for a while, and then I went back to the starting area and killed bosses in a few hits. It's you can do it backwards, and maybe you don't really know you're doing it wrong until you get killed in one hit by basic moves.
Well then, so this is kind of where I'm coming from on this. Like, the game may be about the same or maybe more difficult, but I feel like the game, because like I asked this to Justin. Obviously, it's about the easy mode thing, and I feel like this game doesn't give you an easy mode, but it allows you to approach the game in a lot more different ways that you can make it easier on yourself. Do you feel the
Yeah.
same way?
Yeah, totally. And what really helps is there's tons and tons of checkpoints. There's the things that you sit at so you can level up. There's the statues that you can respawn at near bosses and in random spots in the field close to hard areas. And it's very helpful to be able to respawn near a boss. It becomes like you keep pounding your head against a boss and you respawn right next to him. You're like, okay, cool, let's do another run. And you're having a good time. Even though you're getting your ass kicked, you're actually still having a good time
Right.
because you don't have to run through 5 minutes of territory. So I think that is what really changes the game, because like some of the older games, you have to run. You just end up running past all the enemies. Some of them you can escape. You find different routes to get around and dodge at perfect times. And it just gets annoying. Oh shit, I died most of the way there. Oh god damn. Okay, now I gotta do it again, run and maybe get to the boss. And then you finally get to the boss and you're like, okay, maybe I can do it this time, and you die in like the first 30 seconds, and just like,
Right.
all right, I'm gonna put it away for the night. Yeah, I mean it's just kind of tiresome, I think. So
Right.
it's like, yeah, it's just the checkpoints, I think, is kind of the easy mode they're throwing in here.
Would you say that this is probably the most approachable Souls game then?
Uh, I don't know. It's hard to say, because if somebody that's been playing, say, like a shooter or something like that, it's very, you know where you're going and all that, and then you get thrown into this big world where you can take the wrong turn and get completely eviscerated and not know why.
Right.
You know, I mean, there's a lot of challenges to overcome. Obviously, a lot of the newcomers to this type of game uh, will know open world strategy and that kind of stuff. I mean, that's kind of a given. But there's a lot of people that they're just gonna buy this game like, oh, everybody's talking about it. Maybe I should try it out. But those people, I hope they figure it out. I hope they stick with it because I think more games like this should be made and more fans should stick to it because the challenge is not a bad thing. Uh,
100%. Yeah,
but
I agree.
but there should be more options for people that just can't
Right.
do the things that average people can do with their hands.
Right.
There should be options. I mean, there's absolutely no reason for difficulty selections to not be in it. I mean, if you can customize most games to be a Souls game if you really want, put it on the
Right.
hardest, turn off all the HUD stuff, turn up damage, all this shit. You can make the game what you want. Like why can't you dumb down a hard game if you can you can power up easy game, it's like you just let it go both ways, really.
Gotcha. So I wanted to talk about some of the boss fights with you. What have been some of your favorite boss fights that have really like challenged you, and then you really felt like, holy shit, that was awesome.
Uh Jeez. Well, the very first boss, the main big boss that you are supposed to first fight, Margit. uh
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that I think out of all the bosses is the one that I threw my head at the most. I was having the most troubles with him when it shouldn't have been so hard by the sounds of it.
Right.
But I was having such difficulties, and I did. Is that one where we did co-op? No, we did co-op after that, didn't we?
Yeah, we haven't gotten there yet, but yeah, we haven't we I didn't fight that with you. No.
Yeah. So that's one of the bosses where the timing really, really just kept on throwing me off. He like raises his arm, like where there's no you just don't know. You just have to figure out that weird ass timing,
Right.
and it's a very devastating attack. And I just kept on getting hit by that. I had my wolves, I summoned my ash, and my wolves were there, but I didn't have the supplies to level them up appropriately for my skill level, and I was having just tons and tons of troubles. And eventually, I started summoning people in, and well, actually, first I didn't know, but I was going into their worlds and helping them, and eventually I figured out, oh, okay, this works. Just kind of stick back, and
Oh,
then I
so you
went into
beat it
my
with
own world.
somebody.
I beat it several times with other people, just kind of training myself and
Oh,
seeing what they
interesting.
did.
Interesting.
Yeah, you can study off of other people.
Right.
I
Right.
mean, they're there asking for your help. So if you're in there shoving your face in the boss's business and die immediately, you're not much of a help, are you? So you just kind of stick back and maybe distract the enemy every once in a while. So the co-op has a lot of usefulness for teaching and helping.
Well, that's funny because
So I utilize that.
I only fought that boss once. I did him with me and my wolves, and once I beat him, I think I just got lucky, and I never went back or ever tried it again.
Yeah, yeah, maybe, but yeah.
That's
So that boss, I think, like any Souls boss that you're stuck on, when you beat the boss is the best feeling because your heart rate gets up there, and you beat the boss, you just have this like release, and it feels really good. It's like gambling, I guess, to some people. You're in there fighting your hardest and using all the skills that you've learned on all these enemies that you fought up to that point, and eventually you conquer it. So I mean, that first boss I think is probably one of the more memorable ones for me. But then there's what's Radon?
yeah, we're
Radon,
done.
yeah, Radon, Star Scourge Radon. He I think is the most memorable one for me overall because it was really cool. Like the jar guy, I kind of helped him get out there. Whatever the heck his name was, I thought he was going to have a bigger quest. I haven't seen him since, but
He does have a bigger
you can,
quest, but you have to do it right.
I must not have done it right because I saw him in several places along the way, and eventually I fought Radon, and I was able to summon a bunch of dudes because that's part of that battle is summoning a bunch of dudes. You know, there's always emblems you can ride your horse around, just collect everybody to start smashing on him, and everything in that area looks cool. His attacks are awesome, and then eventually you get him to jump on his horse. His
Right.
poor tiny tiny little horse
Yes.
with his gigantic body, and he's running towards you, and I'm just like, ah, really, run!
Right.
It's so awesome. And looking at fan art of him is pretty funny too, because his poor little horse, it looks so just beat.
Right. No, I did the cheese on that battle. I rotted him to death.
Oh, I didn't have I did, tried him like 2 or 3 times. I got him pretty early.
I mean,
I don't think it was that
I
bad.
fought
Yeah.
him quick. I beat him quickly.
Okay.
I just rotted him. That's all.
Yeah, I have that spell, by the way, but my whatever isn't high enough.
Oh,
I don't know what it takes, but arcane.
arcane
Yeah,
probably.
arcane. And my arcane's only at like 9.
Oh, mine's at 30 now.
Yeah, and you have to have what 13 or something like that for rot to work. That spell, the dragon's breath or whatever it's called,
Yeah.
rot breath. Yeah,
Um,
so I don't have that perk. I'm pretty much just going in these days. I don't have any special spells or talents or anything like that. So I just go in, I summon my Ash, which is what the heck was that thing's name? The Black Knight.
oh, the Black Tish.
Yeah, Black Tish.
She's
Yeah.
gnarly. Yeah.
Yeah, so I've been summoning her, and at one point I was like standing next to her, like she is really tall, but when she's fighting the enemies, she just looks like a dainty, quick thing. But
Oh, I know, because
she,
it's basically the same. It's basically that boss you fight in that
yeah,
Everjail.
yeah, it is,
Yeah.
it is. Which I cheesed that boss. Yes.
Oh, did you do the edge cheat?
Oh yeah, yeah. I
That
couldn't.
was so gnarly, dude. I don't know.
Yeah, well, because that thing had one attack that was area of effect, and it would kill me in one hit every time.
Oh,
There was
really?
no way for me to dodge it. Like it what it lasted so long, I couldn't roll out of the way in time, and I couldn't find any way to stagger the enemy or anything. So I just had to look that up. You told me there was a cheat. I'm
Jeez.
like, oh, okay,
Okay.
I'm gonna do it.
I tried to very hard, and I could get her halfway, and then
Yeah,
she'd fuck me, and I didn't. The area effect never got me. It was always the sneak. She'd like kind of come out of nowhere and sneak up behind you
Oh
and
yeah.
like fuck you, and it's just like, what the fuck? And anyway, so I just like got sick of it, and I was like, fuck it. There's got to be a cheese on this.
Yeah. I mean, some of the boss fights, they're just generic boss fights, like the Erd Tree Guardians and stuff like that. So those and the most of the open world ones are dragons and those, and that's about it.
I did take
really.
her to like an old boss, like super low level that I hadn't beaten, and I just had her kill him. Like I didn't even do anything. It was pretty
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah. It's interesting to watch that, but then again, I went back to some of those original dungeons, and I found one boss, and I hit him like twice, and he died.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have my strength up super high. So it's kind of fun just to doink around in those old areas. They're like so OP, and you run into a big old ocean of enemies that used to give you problems. You're just swinging your sword like, fools.
Right. So something that I haven't talked about with Justin, and I didn't because I hadn't done it yet. Is something that you and I have done exclusively, and
Yeah.
this is maybe something that where this game is kind of failing at. But when we played co-op, we played together. We've played quite a bit together. So talk about some of that. Your opinions of the co-op.
So I've played co-op. I think I don't remember if I did Bloodborne. I think I did a teeny bit maybe, but Demon Souls I did co-op, and it works very similar to this, where it's a pain in the ass. It's really walled off.
Right.
Sometimes he can help, sometimes he can't. Some areas won't even work. Like we were having troubles summoning each other in areas that it just said nope, not
Nope.
working.
But you go somewhere
And then,
else,
yeah.
right away. You go somewhere else, and it works right away.
Yeah, but it took us a while to figure out, like, okay, so I put my symbol on the floor, and you do this, and you might see me over here. You have to know exactly where. You can
Yeah,
put a password.
you guys both have to
So
be in the same area. He can't just summon you out of nowhere. Like,
yeah, you can't just go to your friends list and be like, "Yeah, come here, join me." And okay, I'm joining. Cool, let's go. You actually have to write on the floor and tell your partner where on the floor you wrote it. But if you didn't put a password in your multiplayer mode and match them together, somebody else will join you, or you'll join whoever. See, no, everybody but your friend, uh, and eventually it might pop up, but sometimes it's a little delayed, so you just kind of have to wander around for a while,
it's
wander
kind of like
around,
you
and
look at it, it's like, no, it's not there. You turn back,
God,
and then you come back around. Oh, there it is. It's like it's just
yeah,
like,
oh,
oh,
yeah. Oh, I just had to turn around. You have to do a dance before it comes up. Okay, cool. So yeah, multiplayer. I really wish from their next game. I really hope multiplayer is a better part of it, because it's a lot of fun playing this game in co-op. Because the bosses are still extra challenging.
well,
I don't think
I
it
think
really makes them easier,
no,
and maybe in some
it
cases
stacks, it makes them more difficult.
it does. Okay, I
Yeah,
never
so it
really
does make
noticed
them
that, but
slightly more difficult. So that's why I don't know. I mean, I've been like going gaga over the that character. Let me solo her. That guy
oh
who's
yeah,
like beating the boss. So that's what's so impressive about his original video is that he is in that. He's fighting that version of that boss with two other summons in there, and they're just standing back because so she's way harder and he's soloing her. So it's like
yeah,
yeah,
that's
so
awesome.
it does scale it a little bit harder. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah. That makes sense, because every once in a while, you can actually, when you're summoning people into your world, you can linger around, summon one person, and then if there's still signs on the ground, you can summon a third person
Right.
and go into the boss fight. And I always thought, oh yeah, that should be easy. But if you're being summoned in, you get less health potions.
Oh yeah.
So it cuts that in like half or whatever. And yeah, the boss is really devastating. Like, you'd think three people would be able to take these bosses down, but no, you get wiped out quick. It is hard. It is. But I mean, when you help, the only thing you get is rune arcs, and if you defeat the boss, of course, you get a boatload of runes.
Well,
So I mean, there's perks.
the cool thing while we one of the major areas we did a lot of co-op was in the Imperial City, and just like I think Jerry was coming into my world, you know, he can just kind of like get a bunch of runes,
Yeah,
and then if he dies, he doesn't lose them. You know, he
yeah,
just kind of, and then I die, I have to go back to it, but he's fine. You know, so it's kind of a
hmm
cool way to farm. You know, just
yeah,
kind of
yeah. Yeah, that would be the ultimate way, like, just for fun. If you want to master a boss or whatever like that, you can just go and look for people's, help me, please. Go and help people, and if you defeat the boss, you're getting upwards to 100 and some thousand runes right away. If the boss is
right.
one you're familiar with and can beat pretty easy, yeah, go for it.
I do
If you
appreciate
die, you don't lose them.
I do appreciate the whole making it a way of lore to summon people into your world. I appreciate that amount of work into the multiplayer co-op aspect of it. I just wish it wasn't so walled off and so kind of I wish it was, you know, better
Yeah.
because it gets frustrating, you know. And then the
Well,
other thing is like then I'm getting summoned into Jared's world and then oh no, I'm being summoned away to help some other person because I have the hunter
the
protecting ring that says I'm going to get summoned away and hold on, I got to go do this now.
yeah,
And there's no way
yeah.
for me to shut that off. I can't put those rings away. They're just always active. So it sucks.
And if you decide, oh, okay, we're over here, there's a boss way over here. Let's join right now.
No.
Oh, well, you can't ride your horse. Sorry.
Oh yeah. So it's like a long walk. Yeah, so that's one of the other things
Really
like
long walk. Yeah.
what there was a boss we fought to get into Imperial City, and there was
Yeah.
no site of grace close to it, and it's like, oh, we'll meet here, and then it's like,
Yeah.
we'll ride, and it's like, nope, we have
Oh,
to
bad
walk the whole
idea.
fucking thing. It's like Jesus, come on.
Yeah. Yeah, so the multiplayer works some of the time, not always, but most of the time, I'd say. And I wish it would just give you the option to rejoin your party or something like that, but you
Yeah.
have to go through all that again, and it's a resource that you
Yeah, it's
have
a
to
resource. It's a
craft.
fucking
You have to keep
monetary.
crafting it. Yeah. And if you run out of supplies, you just can't do multiplayer unless you go and figure out who sells them. I think there's somebody that sells them, or find where this one plant grows so you can make more of them.
I mean,
So it's
thankfully that
really
hasn't been a
annoying.
problem for me
Yeah.
because I have so many of them. So I
Yeah.
mean, thankfully, but yeah, it is kind of just like, why is it a monetary thing? Like, I don't know. I feel like that's not something the game needs.
Yeah, for a game so big, it would be just fun to go through with a friend. You're mobbing around a dungeon. There's some that are pretty hard, or you could benefit from having two people on either side of the dungeon. You know, it should just be an option, I think. Or maybe their next game will be that. Who
Maybe
knows?
that'd be cool. Yeah,
Or
I mean,
somebody will make a proper Souls style game with co-op.
I hope. Well,
If-
maybe. I feel like this is the pinnacle. I don't know. This is like so far. I mean, I am in. If they make a sequel to this, I am in. I'm. I don't. I mean, I know you're kind of interested to go back to Dark Souls. I don't think I'm interested. I don't know if I need to go back. I'm all about forward.
yeah, maybe someday. I don't know. If anything, like Dark Souls 3, I couldn't imagine I would miss a ton of story. If anything, I could watch a YouTube video like the story up to this.
So we agree that while the co-op is fun, it's kind of a hampered. It's like if anything tarnishes the
Uh,
game, it's kind of that. What are some other things you're not super hyped on the game? What are things that you're like,
uh, well, a lot. Sometimes there's like I don't know. It's like there's items on bodies, like in most games. Sometimes you think, oh, this one's super well guarded. And it takes you several tries, and you go and get the item off the body or whatever like that. And it's like a crafting item
right?
or something like that. And you're just like, oh. So now I just there's a big monster giant knight dude over there, and he's standing and staring at this dead body with an item on it.
Could just be a rune arc.
I'm just gonna run there real quick.
Oh, grab
Yeah,
it.
I'm just gonna run there real quick, run away, and if I get away, cool. If not, my body will be far enough away from him where I can just go get my runes back.
You know what's
So I mean, it's like a game of fetch, but it's opposite because the person is trying to chase you.
I also find a lot of the times, I don't know if you've noticed this, but I feel like where you die isn't not exactly where it puts the runes. Like it puts the runes closer in an area that may be safer for you to get to. I don't always feel like I die there. There's a lot of times I feel like, what? Why is it so? I always find it like, why is it so much closer than where I thought I died? But
Or sometimes you're like trying to get down a cliffside an easy way, and you're like, oh, okay, I kind of landed there, and then you fall the rest of the way, blah, and then your souls are on that one spot
I always
that you
feel
landed on.
I always feel like they're either at the top or the bottom.
Yeah. Most of the time they're on the top, but every once in a while you just get goofed, and they're in the middle of the cliff where you can't get to, or at least can't get your runes, and then you have to fast travel somewhere
Right.
to keep them. Uh, so there's a couple of sites of grace. I don't know if you bumped into this, where you stand over the site of grace and there's words over it, and you're there, but you can't even select the site of grace.
Oh,
You
because
have to
of
like
someone
walk over like 3 or 4 feet, and then there's the site of grace where you can actually hit the button. Have you bumped into that?
because someone has written
I don't know if it's
words.
because somebody wrote words, but you have to activate the site of grace near the site of grace, not where it actually is.
I haven't ran into that. Usually when that kind of not on the side of grace. Sometimes there'll be like a chest or something, and there'll be someone have written words, and like usually you can like toggle the direction pad,
Yeah.
read or open chest, or the only time I've had an issue was like, and I think they fixed this. But like people would put fucking dialogue right next to a fucking ladder. So you're like
Yeah.
running,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
and you had to hit but you can't because you have to fucking direction tab and it's like obnoxious. I think they kind of patched that so you can do that because I haven't
Yeah.
seen it lately. But in the beginning, when fuckers would put fucking dialogue right at the bottom of a fucking
Uh-huh.
ladder, would drive me nuts.
Well, yeah, you're trying to run away from an enemy and scurry away. But then when you're at the bottom of that ladder, you don't know what side you go up. So you're like, there's no indicators like what side is the right side to climb. Like, mash triangle. Nope,
Usually, when it's just
not
against
that
the
one I
wall,
did.
you know which side. And
Yeah, but the area that I'm doing right
yeah, yeah,
now,
yeah.
it's not in the middle of the wall. It's just a ladder dangling down.
Where are you right now?
I'm like at the bottom of the Halleck tree.
Oh, right, right, right. Did you fight Loretta yet?
I fought one of the knights that was on the horse.
Yeah, she's in. You go down the elevator, and she's in there. It's like an actual boss.
Yeah, yeah, I fought someone. I don't know if it's the one you're talking about. I fought one boss there, but now I'm down in like the castle-like area, not the tree area anymore.
Right. So there's like a you go down there, and then there's like a it's like one of those tree avatars walking around, and
Yeah, yeah, I'm down there.
I
So
am
I
also
beat
yeah.
that one, the horse lady up there. So I got her trophy or whatever.
Right, right,
That
right.
was actually
Okay.
a trophy. So I'm there right now.
I am
And
also there.
oh, okay, we got to do some co-op. Yeah,
I still haven't beat the giant yet.
the giant.
The snow giant, fire giant up in the snow
Oh,
area.
he's a lot of fun, man. I just
Is
kept on
he?
pounding my head against him. I
Is
had a
he?
lot of fun fighting him. Yeah.
I've not had any luck. I keep getting my ass
Oh
kicked.
no, just stay at his feet, man.
I know
Just
stay at
stay
his
at his
feet, but
feet.
he
Yeah.
still fucks you. I don't know. I
No.
get fucked. I get fucked.
Yeah, that was a lot
Anyway,
of fun. Yeah. I had fun with
I'm
that
gonna
one.
start stalking arrows and do the cheese. It's just gonna take me 2
What?
hours.
No, 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 no. Take you less time just to beat your head against the wall.
No, the cheesy thing's easy. It's just I need a shit ton of
Yeah.
arrows. You know what's kind of fun, cool about this game, and like it's a big game, and it's like it's part of the zeitgeist right now. Like
Yeah.
everyone, it's cool to be a part of something where everything is happening. Like very, there's not a lot of games. I also feel like this game has a lot of stupid like exploits and secrets and like old Nintendo games, like doing the wall climb in Super Mario Brothers, or like it has all this kind of shit. I don't know. It's kind of fun to be a part of that. I feel like if I had played this like a year down the line, it's kind of like I don't know. People had stopped talking about it, but it's kind of cool to be a part of that. And I don't know.
Yeah.
Watching. I mean, Doctor Disrespect, who I enjoy watching his streams. He's been playing the game, and he actually really likes the game, which is cool. So like,
Oh, okay.
been watching him play the game has been really fun. And like I mentioned earlier, the Let Me Solo Her guy. That guy who like just between what 3 and 10 o'clock Central Standard Time puts his little finger down and says, "If you need help with this boss." Of course, he plays on PC, so I'll never get to play with him. But he'll help. He'll help you with Melina and or however you pronounce her name. And it's just kind of cool. Like, man, it'd be awesome to like have him beat the boss for me, or play with him while he beats the boss.
Is that the boss at the end of the Halleck tree?
Yeah, that's the hardest. This is the hardest
Oh,
boss.
damn.
So that's
Okay,
where
so
we're
I'm
at.
doing this to go to the hardest boss. Okay,
Yeah, that's
awesome.
basically that's like the last shard. Well, have you beat Moog yet? Mog?
No, no,
Oh, okay.
I still haven't done most of the shard bearers.
Okay, so I have.
I haven't even found them.
She's the last one. She's like the sixth one for me.
Yeah, okay.
So like, she's like the one, and I'm like gonna have to. I don't know. Hopefully, figure it out.
Yeah. Well, I just said that, I haven't found all of them, and I'm 90 some hours in the game. I just unlocked all of the upper world map at 90 hours. So this game has some size to it. And,
There's like the main 6, and then there's some like small other ones, I
yeah.
think. But the main 6. So, yeah. So well, you must have like at least 4 of them, probably. No.
Oh,
The main. You have Radon. You have Godric.
yeah.
You have the other one we fought together. We got the other one we fought together. Imperial City, right?
Yeah, I think so.
What is that guy's name? I forget. So you just have 3.
Yeah.
There's Mog, Melina. What's the other? Oh, the snake guy from.
I
You haven't
haven't
done the
seen him yet.
Volcano Manor yet. Volcano Manor. You have to do all the Volcano Manor story stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. He's not
Yeah.
hard. He's very easy, actually. I
Okay.
went in there thinking the wrong thing, but that boss fight, you walk into that boss fight and there's a weapon to your left,
Huh.
and you grab it, and then you die, and then you go out and you just level the fuck out of it, and then you come back and just if you have Mimic Tier, it's best to do with Mimic Tier because then you both have that weapon, and
Oh,
you
okay.
just destroy him. It's
Awesome.
so easy. I
That's
was
good to
trying to
know.
do all this other stuff like it's like, and I get him almost down like a quarter of the way down, but then he'd destroy me in his second phase, and anyway.
Cool.
But yeah, no, okay, I know exactly which ones you need to do. That snake one's easy. The hard part's killing the fucking world interluders. The
Yeah.
red. That's
The
kind of
contracts, the hit contracts.
that's
you
kind
get.
of more
Yeah.
of the pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Anyway, blah blah blah. Spoilers.
Yeah. I haven't even done that first one. I keep looking at it like it's down in Limgrave. Okay, I just need to mosey on down there. There's a site of grace right next to it, pretty much.
You just got to figure out the weapon combos. You might have to switch up a different weapon or something, but it's not. You'll at this point, I think you could probably just couple slashes and kill him.
Yeah, I can pretty much take out any enemy with my weapon. You know, I don't switch my weapon very often.
The
if at
last
all.
one was hard because he comes at you with some crazy whip. He's like whipping magic guy, and he's really quick, super obnoxious. But the other ones were pretty easy.
Okay.
So, yeah,
Fun.
that's an easy one. If you just need to kill some time.
Yeah. Kill some tarnished.
Kill some tarnished, yeah. But yeah, it's been fun to be a part of the game and see it, how like, all the kind of memes and jokes and so they brought out the new patch the other day, and like it got rid so like some of the rune farming stuff went away, and I don't know. I tried to kill the bird, and the bird like now hovers over that spot so he doesn't fall. I don't know. So maybe they fixed that too. I don't know.
Interesting. Nobody mentioned that this patch recently fixed that or anything.
Well, some people said it didn't, so I went out and tried it, and the bird, every time I shot him, he didn't fall. So, I don't know. And then the other thing I was doing where you go pop up the wall, and then you jump off, and then it does this is an actual glitch exploit where it falls outside of the world, and you get a shit ton of runes. So like what they did in that whole area where you could jump, they just put more rocks.
Oh, funny.
So you can't climb it. The exploit still exists. You just can't get over there.
Yeah, that's funny.
That's funny.
Easier to patch rocks in.
Yeah, then like,
That's funny.
Yeah. So, anyway, Jarrod, anything else you would like to? This awesome game. What do you any final thoughts?
I wish I had more time to play it. That's really all I want to play right now. Like I don't know. Every once in a while, I sit down and like, maybe I'll just watch a TV show or something, and then I'm like, no, I'm gonna play Elden Ring. So it's amusing and entertaining, and if you get frustrated, you can just go to a different part of the map. It's like I don't know how other people utilize the emblems you can put on the map, but the only one I ever use is if there's a boss that I didn't beat or don't want to fight at that time, I'll put a skull right where that boss is, so I know I can go back there. And I've been going through some of the not halig trees, the Erd trees, and beating those bosses, which are super easy on foot, by the way, way easier than on horse. At least at my power level. But yeah, utilizing those is very important with a game that has so many boss fights in it.
Oh, dude, you know what? One of the best bosses I just beat recently? You know the guy where you feed him the death souls?
Oh, yeah.
That fucking gargoyle outside?
Oh,
okay. Finally beat that motherfucker.
Oh, I've never fought him.
Oh, Jesus. Finally beat him, and I was like...
Okay.
Because every time I go back to that guy to feed him his death soul or whatever he wants, I'll go outside and like kind of piss the thing off and just see if I can beat it. and
Okay.
I get my ass kicked, and it's like I'm out. And then like the other night, this is probably last weekend, and I was just like, fuck it, I'm gonna fucking do it.
Yeah,
And
just
there's
get
no
it done.
cheesing this one. There's like it's just literally like I get it. I come across like I'm cheesing all the bad guys, but this is literally just I had to fight this motherfucker, and yeah, I was so like, and he was kicking my ass for a long time, and then I just finally did it properly, and I just felt
Good.
like I got it, and so the game. So like when I first was thinking about buying the game, it's like Ian, it's just this is gonna be a lot of you just beating your head, against a wall. I felt like, and then it wasn't that, and there's something really. Even when it's super hard and you're frustrated and you go away and you just kind of collect yourself and you play and it's just very like exploring a world and and then when you think you're ready, you go back and hopefully
I
you
think,
win.
yeah, I think I'm having similar fun as I did with Monster Hunter World.
Yeah. There's a lot of that planning and like kind of thinking about like how, because these bosses have different weaknesses and 100%.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you gotta figure out your timing, figure out what works, figure out what doesn't, and yeah, and when you beat the boss, you have the same smile on your face as you do with Monster Hunter World, and we both played tons of that as well. I think that this
Better
game,
multiplayer.
Elden Ring, and Monster Hunter World are like the two games Ian and I have played the most of in the past 5 years.
Oh yeah,
You
100%.
know, it's
Well,
you know,
maybe Rocket League, but that doesn't. I guess that
like,
doesn't count.
yeah, I could see that, but a multiplayer game, and Elden Ring is not a multiplayer game, but it feels good to play multiplayer.
It's just I mean, I mean, it's funny, like, because like Souls games were like kind of a fringe thing, and now they're like the main thing now. Like it's like the biggest thing. Like we're doing this like podcast as if this is like we need to tell the masses, but I think the like Bryn tells me like, "Are you playing Elden Ring?" And like she tells me when other people are playing Elden Ring, and like it's a huge ass game. This is like a massive game.
Yeah, it is. It's making a big impact on the industry, and I think it's gonna show a lot of its signs as game development moves along. It may not be immediate because video games take a long time to develop. You know, 5, 6 years from now, maybe we'll see the impacts of what this game did to other development options.
Of everything, I hope it's the world design. I mean,
Yeah,
this is
yeah,
by
definitely.
far one of the strongest world designs I have ever seen in a video game. It's honestly, I
Yeah,
don't know. I don't know how God of War, if God of War even makes it out at the end of the year. Still, it probably will. But I mean, honestly, Jared, I think that I think I have one more episode after this. I think that the final episode is like I finally beat it. You finally beat
yeah,
it. Justin Daniels, who was on previously, has beaten the game. I think what I do is I have all three of us back and we finally do a final kind of breakdown of beating it and blah blah blah. But I'm close, and like I don't know if there's unless I cannot beat it somehow. I don't know if there's any way it's not my game of the year. I don't know.
no, nobody's said the final boss is hard.
Oh, the
I mean,
final boss.
that's
You're right.
completed it. Yeah,
Technically, yeah. The Melina you don't have to beat to
yeah,
finish the
she's
game.
optional.
She's an
Yeah, but
optional. Yeah. Hundred
yeah.
percent.
So I
Yeah.
haven't seen any articles about how brutal like the final boss fights are.
Right. I
So
just characterize Melina as I feel like it's a boss I have to fight. Like
yeah,
I'm in it to like do it. I can't. You're right. I could just not do that and just go beat the game, but I kind of want to. I want to do it, Jared.
yeah, I get it. I do. I'm gonna pound my head against that battle for a while too.
I've invested
Maybe
I've invested this much time, and and a
yeah.
lot. Some people say it's one of the greatest. It's like the hardest Souls boss, supposedly. I don't
Huh.
know. So we'll see about that.
Yeah. Yes. So good luck. I mean, we're both almost there. It sounds like.
Yeah, I think. Well, yeah. Once we get to the bottom of that palace, I think that's it.
Yeah. Man.
Yeah, but
Awesome.
I think I don't know how you beat the game. Do I? I think you have to.
I'm assuming you go back into the Erd tree, the big one.
Okay, I don't know how to actually beat the game then, because like you burn the tree, you become Elden Lord, or I don't know.
Yeah, you have to beat the fire giant, and it'll kind of open
So that must
what
be
you're
it.
supposed to do. Yeah, go defeat that fire giant, and
Yeah.
you'll know exactly what you
I
need
have
to
actually
do.
haven't fought him in a very long time, so
Yeah, just you're gonna be able to beat him. If you want help, I would love to. I had a lot of fun on that boss.
all right,
I might actually go and throw my sign down for that boss because I
okay,
had fun.
all right.
Yeah,
Well, we'll make a date of it then.
yeah.
Now that you know how to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Anyway.
I'm not saying I perfected it by any means.
What?
I struggled and had a lot of fun. I thought even when I failed, I was like, let's go again. You know, I had a lot of fun fighting that boss.
All right. Cool. Well, I think we got our hour. So unless there's something else you really want to add.
No,
No?
I'm good. I though this game makes me want to go back to some of those old games like Bloodborne, and I didn't beat a lot or most of the boss. Well, I don't know how to say that, but there's a lot of bosses I did not beat in certain areas because there's optional areas that I've unlocked in that game, and same with Demon Souls. There's a lot more bosses I could go and fight, so I might actually dive back into those when I'm done with Elden Ring, just keep that feeling going and see if what I've learned in Elden Ring will help me in the other games. It'll be kind of interesting to go back to some of the games that I, stepped on to get to this point.
Right. No, because there's supposed to be. I mean, I think baked into all like a lot of those games, there's like a bunch of like secret stuff that changes the world and how the game ends or whatever. And it's like
Oh yeah,
super fun and interesting. And I get it now. I get it now. I would like to play Bloodborne. I just don't really like that world design. That's
you
that.
don't like the dark.
It's just like the constant dark and the kind of gothicness of it. I wish it was a little. I like the more fantasy aspect of Elden Ring. Like Dark Souls, I would probably play, but I don't know. I have other things. I just can't put another thing. I don't need to get into that.
Well, Bloodborne, I think as I played it, I thought this is what Castlevania should have turned into.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
So, I mean, add a whip and vampires through the storyline, and I mean, there are vampires and like werewolves and shit. So, I mean, yeah. I mean, it's pretty much Castlevania without whips, unless
Yeah.
I missed the whip.
There might be because I feel like a maybe it's in Dark Souls, but I feel like the whip in Elden Ring is like a returning weapon. There's always been a whip, so maybe you just missed it in Bloodborne.
Maybe, but I don't know. That is exactly how I felt while I was playing it. Like, oh yeah, okay, I'm just playing Castlevania. This is awesome. Where's Frankenstein? Where's
Gotcha.
Death? Let's go.
Cool.
Yeah, but
Well,
Souls.
Souls games, Elden Ring. This is part 3 of my multi-part journey in Elden Ring. My first real delve into a Souls game. Jarrod, thanks for joining me on this episode.
Yeah, I'm glad we finally got together to record.
Yeah. I want to thank everyone for listening and remind you that you can leave feedback on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Couch Co-op Shows, all one word, no hyphen. Remember that you can subscribe and share our podcast on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Amazon Music, Stitcher, all the places you get podcasts. Again, I want to thank Jarrod for joining me here on the couch. For Couch Co-op, I'm
Always.
Ian. Reminding you to please be excellent to each other.